Peace, and welcome to 3 Levels of Game. In this piece, we're going to discuss the gravity of leadership and to whom, as well as to where it applies to. I'd like to start by discussing an ancient spiritual system that fathered all of the major religions of today. It was known as the meta nature. And if we were to translate that into modern terms, that would be called Mother Nature. And the basis of the meta nature spiritual system was a 3-in-1 system. It was a holy trinity, and that trinity consisted of man, woman, and child. Now, this was viewed as the key to eternal life. The man in this holy trinity was the foundation of this system, and he was blessed with the divine seed of life that he would transfer to the female. The woman was the counterpart because she possessed the fertile soil needed for the planting of this seed, and through her powers of creativity, she would make the most out of that seed and give birth to the child. The man provided the blueprint, and the woman would bring that blueprint to life. This bestowed the power of leadership in men. Now, before we move forward, I'd like to define leadership. The definition which I think best suits is that leadership is a process of social inspiration which maximizes the efforts of others towards the achievement of a goal. And what that means is that leadership is a process of inspiring people and bringing the best out of them for a specific purpose. Therefore, it's a man's job to bring the best out of the woman that he's with and to have a projected goal for the relationship or interaction. In present day, women are portrayed as being more masculine, but this is more so due to the lack of manhood they encounter from males on a regular basis. It's also resulted in women being accused of being uncooperative, stubborn, and some groups of men even refer to her nature as evil. My brothers and sisters, nature is in no way evil. What's actually happening is the woman has a low level of self-interest and a lack of manhood that the male is displaying, if he's displaying any manhood at all. There's no such thing as a modern woman. A woman is a woman, plain and simple. Always has been, always will be. And she needs a man who can allow her to fully exist in her femininity. This is her true nature, and it is in no way evil. For her to do this, a man must fully embrace his masculinity. If she detects a slight hindrance in his ability to properly display his masculinity, she'll simply lose interest. Therefore, as a man, you must be prepared to lead and demonstrate this leadership at will. There's not a lot of men today who've activated this key part of their being. And as a result, women are left to be alone or will oftentimes date the same men as other women. This can be seen as an affront to males who've not become men because they lack the leadership it takes to entice these women and to help elevate them into their absolute femininity. This is once again where males need to take responsibility for their lack of aptitude. If you play your part, she'll play hers, plain and simple. If you lead, she'll follow. For example, if you've ever been on a date with a woman and you leave the decisions up to her as to where to go or how the date should play out, she'll lose all interest in you and you'll have secured your throne in the infamous friend zone. At that point, you have about a 1% chance of getting out of there. So it's best to charge her to the game, meaning get rid of her and start crusading for someone else. Now, let's put the 180 on it. What I mean is, let's look at it from a mirror reflection on the opposite end. If you're on a date with a woman and you've taken the initiative to plan the entire night out, You've tested out places you want to take her to ensure that she has the most pleasurable experience possible. She'll open herself up to you a lot more, and her cooperation will intensify drastically, providing your game is strong. Plus, you'll blow any of the competition you may have completely out of the water. This is where you'll notice her feelings really start to develop. This is all a communication tour of what type of leader you'll be. Now, let's get to the fish and french fries of today's topic, because I'd like to demonstrate how detrimental and destructive it is when a man gives up his leadership. Keep in mind, I'm not a religious guy. I am going to use the mythology in the Adam and Eve story of creation because it's a precise example of what happens when men forfeit their leadership. For any who may not be familiar, in the Holy Bible, the Quran, or the Torah, which happen to be the doctrine for 3 of today's major religions, there's a story detailing the creation of man and woman. It says that the man was created, and from his rib the woman was created. Now, let's not take that on face value. Let's examine the concept. To say a woman was created from a critical part of a man's body alludes to how precious the woman is to our existence. She's flesh of our flesh, blood of our blood. The Meta Nature says that she is the key to eternal life because she brings forth the children. So what that should mean to you is that in order for her to be a part of your Holy Trinity, she needs to be ride or die for you, and in turn that should earn you being ride or die for her. What you show her, she'll reflect back to you. She's a part of you as you're a part of her. Now, in each of these doctrines, it's stated that when a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, they become one flesh. So let's go ahead and get back to the story. So, the Most High, who may be called God, Allah, or Jehovah, specifically told the man, whose name is Adam, not to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The key here is the woman was not yet created when the Most High gave Adam this order. So let's assume that Adam was delegated to tell the woman not to eat from the forbidden tree. The story then goes on to mention the creation of the woman, whose name in this story is Eve. She's in the garden with Adam, helping him take care of it. Eventually, she runs across a crafty serpent. The serpent questions Eve on whether or not she's allowed to eat from the forbidden tree. After she confirms that she's not supposed to eat of the tree, the serpent convinces her that she can eat from the tree because she'll become as knowledgeable as the Most High. Now let's pause for a minute. The name of the forbidden tree is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. In other words, eating from the tree will make her more aware of things. It's almost as if the tree represented her ability for free thought. Let's look at the serpent in this case as the penis. She was enticed by what she saw hanging from below Adam's waistline, and she was fascinated by it. So she went for it. They say that she shared some of the fruit with Adam. To quote, "When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it." Then it goes on to say that she also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. So she ate of his fruit and he ate of hers. Then the eyes of both of them were open, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Now, the Most High specifically told Adam not to eat of this tree, but because he lacked the leadership to stand on what the Most High told him, he bended to the will of the woman. To to add insult to injury, he blamed the woman for him being disobedient instead of taking responsibility for his act of outright defiance. This is very similar to today, with men blaming women for problems that exist in today's relationships because he refuses to assume his role of leadership. Back to Adam and Eve. Here's what the Most High had to say about the situation. Because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It'll produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the fields by the sweat of your brow. You will eat your food until you return to the ground. Since from it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you will return. So, in other words, the entire humanity was damned because this man gave up his leadership. It had nothing to do with her disobedience. Remember, she didn't receive the order from the Most High himself. She received that information from her man. It was up to him to stand on his principle, and through his example, she could find strength in taking herself to the next level. Remember, leadership maximizes the efforts of others towards the achievement of a goal. So, to all my men out there, maintain your leadership and stand firm on it. To all of my males looking to become men, make a habit of sticking to your principles and convictions, because this is part of the path to manhood. I've often heard that form follows function. If you function properly, the form will come out of it. To my 3LG Nation, much respect, love, and adoration. Thank you for the support. Be aware that we are destined for great things in this beautiful life. Always peep the blessing to catch the lesson. Until we meet again, peace.